To most people, Nancy Grace is a TV tough lady who pulls no punches. You may not know this, but Nancy's life was changed forever by a very personal, heartbreaking tragedy. And just recently, she lost a family member to the pandemic. So get ready. You're about to see a whole different side of Nancy Grace. Nancy, thank you so much for being with us. I know that you recently lost someone very, very dear to you to COVID. So we appreciate you being here and talking with us this morning. How are you holding up?
Well, fine. It's just a shock because our relative, just 10 days before his death, was out working in the yard, blowing leaves, loving life. And he was a real fighter in life. And he just couldn't breathe. And finally said, I can't, don't have the energy to keep fighting. And 10 days later, he was gone, just like that. So for all the people out there that somehow think that masks are a joke or a conspiracy, that's not true. It's happening. COVID is real.
Wow. It's real. It can happen to any one of us. And Nancy, I think that's what I appreciate about the work you've done for all these years. Can you just talk about how important it is for you to make people realize that in the same sense, anyone can be, a victim to something like a horrible disease or a horrible crime? I mean, this has been part of your life's work.
It really has. And I didn't set out to be that or do that. I set out to teach Shakespearean literature. But shortly before my wedding, my fiance was murdered and my world exploded. I grew up in a very rural area, and as far as you could see, there were pine trees and soybean fields. We knew nothing about hatred or crime. That was just not part of the world. I recently channeled every case I ever investigated, personally took to trial or covered, into a new book. It took me 2 years to research and write it. And it's not to scare anyone. Don't be a victim, is to empower people. I started writing about how to stay safe while you're exercising, and that opened up so many areas. Safe while on an elevator. I was inspired to write that chapter by the Fulton County courthouse shooting, where a female sheriff was overpowered on an elevator, and there ended up being a mass shooting, including a judge I played softball with and a court reporter that reported my trials, among others. Safe on an elevator, safe while shopping, safe in parking garages. You know that feeling you get in a parking deck sometimes? There's a reason you're feeling that. It's not just you being crazy. It's you feeling a hunch based on thousands of years of evolution. Your children safe shopping at a playground, at play school, on the way to the school bus, safe while traveling. I mean, do you remember the Erin Andrews saga? Innocent, beautiful woman being preyed upon traveling in a hotel.
You've got a couple of shows that are out now. We have Injustice with Nancy Grace, Bloodline Detectives. Tell me about Bloodline Detectives. I thought that was very interesting, the notion of this show.
I really appreciate you asking about Bloodline and Injustice Season 2 on Oxygen. Well, Oxygen deals with injustices that have happened in our system and how we can fix it and make that case right. Super proud of Season 2. Bloodline deals with something completely different. Bloodline Detectives deals with cases that, through no fault of their own, police have put on a back shelf. They've run out of leads. They've hit a wall. And every day, and I can tell you this in the DA's office, you get literally hundreds of cases, dozens of cases come your way every day. And after you run out of leads, there's all these new cases you got to hop on. So through no fault of their own, usually a case turns into a cold case. And Bloodline Detectives, they take seemingly cold cases, unsolvable cases, and through modern technology, DNA and blood evidence technology, they crack these cold cases where literally for decades, families have spent huge chunks of their lives trying to seek justice. And I really appreciate you asking me, not just about the book, but about Bloodline Detectives and Oxygen Injustice Season 2. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Take care. Thank you so much.